The thing that I love about the Wise Guys teams is that you guys have a knack for finding the most passionate founders. They know what they're doing, they believe in what they're doing, and nothing is going to stop them.
It is really intense, I have to say, but I really enjoy it because I feel every day I'm totally evolving in this program, and I see that I have so many weapons already.
It's challenging at times. We come with a strong background of doing a lot of things at once, but it's just amazing to be next to the teams, showing all the creativity you can to help them. So it's not something you have to deliver, it's very creative work, and that's what I'm very surprised that I really like it.
I think the best of the difficult part always. You already know everything, but here the borders are infinite, just so much things to learn.
One of them is the passion, and the other one is how much we care about each other. Among everything, we are a team that really likes to spend time with each other, and part of that is because we all share the mission.
Because I always had the feeling that this is the family that I have.
This is not a job, this is what we love to do. I think when you can mix that one, it's great. We just have to sometimes understand that, hey, there is more people around us, that we have to put some time for them.
For us, it was mainly like a crash course startup MBA, basically, kind of. It's kind of like a bottle of good wine, kind of that keeps getting better all the time.
I mean, Wise Guys team is what keeps me energized through everyday life. When I started working with the startup scene, Wise Guys was my kind of entryway, so I feel like it's a family. I'm like an adopted startup Wise girl.
I just remember one scene from the Tech Chill 2 months ago when you had the demo day with Swedbank. Nearly all the startups were nearly crying when they said goodbye to the mentors. You know, they can really feel the energy, and I think culture beats everything. And I also see Wise Guys as an execution machine.
Yeah, and people ask that why do you do that? There is no money, and very many accelerators have failed after a year or two. I believe that if you really want to do it, if it's your vision, and then you just can't give up, and you will figure it out how it works.
And you have to pitch at the big stage, right?
Yes. My hands are already shaking.
It's too easy for us because this whole month start Wise Guys, every day we preaching. It's easy for us.
Now we are only going up, and only the sky is the limit.
This is love for what we do at the end of the day, and this is our life that we want to have.
I already know that when it's over, then I'm gonna cry.
3 minutes of station, now back to work.
Boom! Welcome everyone. Welcome to Startup Wise Guys live stream about our upcoming Wise Guys SaaS Africa Acceleration Program. I see that many of you are already joining, so super happy to see you here today. My name is Louise. I will be the one checking in on your questions in the comments section, and I will be directing all of those questions towards these two beautiful people I have here today, giving each of you a floor to introduce yourselves. Let's start with Darja.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. We will talk about SaaS Africa program, and I'm a scouting manager who is leading this process. So I have been with Wise Guys for 4 years. I've done 4 acceleration programs, and for the past 2 years, I have been selecting best of the best to join our programs. Welcome.
Thank you. Eliud?
Thank you. My name is Eliud Mungai, MD for SWJ Africa. So I've been leading the team here as we've launched Startup Wise Guys in Africa, previously as an experienced operator in the startup world. So it's exciting to be here and to share all that we have for you people. Welcome.
Thank you. So a little bit of housekeeping before we dive into the questions. No matter where you are watching us, be it LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, The comment section is the place for your questions. So if you have anything, feel free to type them there. I see a lot of hellos already coming in. So super excited to see you all here. I have a list of questions I will be going through, but of course, anything you want to know, comment section, write them there. I'm keeping an eye on it, and I will make sure to ask those questions to Darja or Eliud. So these are the two people that you get to know the most probably when you apply to our programs. So you get to speak to them also one-on-one. So these are the people who can tell you anything. Let's start with the most important things. Eliud, the dates of the program, what people need to remember if they want to apply, what is the application deadline, when the program is starting, how is the timeline looking for us?
Yeah, thank you. So we are officially scouting for batch 2. So we've completed batch 1. So batch 2 is we are accepting applications currently, and it's live. Deadline for accepting applications is August 25th. We look forward to start the second batch on October 10th this year. So you have until August 25th to submit your applications via DLAM. You can go to our website, click on the application link, and we are actively scouting and doing pitch days and getting to the startups that we want.
Yeah, and then important note, even though the application deadline is August 25th, do not wait till the last day, because as Eliud already mentioned, we have pitch days, bootcamps running already. So the sooner you apply, the sooner you can get into the scouting process, and you can also get a lot out of our own team and mentors who you get to speak to. So Wise Guys SaaS Africa, who is this program for? What kind of startups are we looking for? From which countries? It's Wise Guys SaaS Africa. So Eliud, maybe you can deep dive into this part.
All right, I can start, but Darja will help me. She's the one doing the first checks. But yes, SaaS Africa is mainly for B2B SaaS startups. That's why we call ourselves SaaS, software as a
service. Yep.
Software as a service. Yes. So B2B SaaS startups is what we are looking for. So we are open actually to all African English-speaking countries, in as much as we have 5 major priority countries. But as long as you're a quality company with the first initial traction, with a solid team, with some revenues, we welcome all applications from across Africa, but it has to be from an English-speaking country.
Yeah, that's very, very important, because all our communication, and after if you get selected, the program itself, everything's happening in English. We have an international pool of mentors. So to be able to speak with everyone, you really, really need to know English and be able to get as much as you can from everyone else as well. Before we dive deeper in the scouting process and more into the selection criteria, let's have it at the beginning as well. In short, if a startup gets selected, what is it that they get out of being selected? So the program and the deal, maybe in a short summary, you can explain that, Eliud, as well, and then later we will dive deeper into that.
Yeah, good point. So this is a hybrid accelerator and investment program. So the first thing is that you get into the accelerator program that is 5 months long with various modules, and it's really mentor driven. So you get a lot of one-on-one coaching. But at the same time, you also get an initial 65,000 euro investment for an equity stake. So we make that investment, and during this scouting period is when we get to negotiate. You get a term sheet offer. So it's one of the initial indications that you've gotten into the program, because you get an investment ticket from us.
Yep. Thank you. And okay, so as you heard, what you need to do, you go to startupwiseguys.com/SaaS Africa. You can see the link on our stream. You hit that apply button. You answer a list of questions that we have there. It's very, very important that you do answer, because then we also can see how serious you are about applying. And then what happens? Darja, can you take us through the whole scouting process? How do we move from one step to the another, and what startups kind of need to get ready for when they apply?
Happy to. As mentioned, please apply as soon as possible. First of all, because our selection and due diligence process can take up to a month, with all the calls and different events that we're running. So when you apply, we do the initial pre-selection. We read your application form. There is actual human who is doing that. So be clear and concise. We do the initial pre-selection and we decide with whom we are proceeding. Initial pre-selection means that we evaluate first on our basic rules, our main criteria that is usually you can't touch it and we can't do anything if you are out of the scope. And we always work with startups who are in B2B sector. For African program, you need to be generating revenues from the B2B sales. Otherwise, we can't proceed with you. And then you need to have at least 2 co-founders, because doing business alone is super hard. And you need to have a working product, because within the accelerator, we accelerate sales. And obviously, you need to have a product to sell. This is the initial pre-selection that we do. If you check all the boxes, usually we proceed with you further. The next step is the pitch day. We are experimenting with different things, but usually you are invited to present your business and your product. And the scouting team and the batch team, including Eliud and me, we're usually on the calls and we evaluate. We invite up to 10 startups each week. We listen to them and then we decide on the next steps. The next steps are, but not limited to, MD call. Basically, Eliud is going to have calls with all interesting startups. He's going to evaluate your business potential. He can also elaborate on the program if you have any questions. Then you are always going to have a technical due diligence, because after all, we invest into the technical startups and we need to make sure that your product is scalable. As I always say, when you start getting all those hundreds of customers after the program, we need to make sure your software can handle it. And then you will also have a call with our partners. Basically, people who are in charge of making investment decisions also would like to take a look and talk to you. And the last part of the selection process is the bootcamp. This is where invite best of the best. We run about 3 to 4 of those events during the whole selection process. And there it's a full day event for you, dear startups. You will have product showing. So you, the same as the very first step, but you're going to present your product and we're going to ask some questions. And the last part of it is one-on-ones with our GPs and our team members. And basically at the end of it, we make a decision who is going to be invited to the program. And then you start negotiations about the deal with Eliud. This is the full scouting process, which means that the sooner you apply, the more capacity we have to have proper conversations with you without any rush, and dedicate all our mental capacity to actually talk to you. And also, this is the moment when you start getting the feedback from us, which is for you also important. Even if you, for instance, don't get into the program right away, you already get some sort of feedback from the industry experts after all the calls. This is how the selection looks like.
Thank you. And I hear your doggo is confirming that, yes, that's right. That's right. So listen carefully to what Darja is saying. Yeah. So did you want to add something on top of this, Eliud, already?
Maybe just to highlight, I think the process is clear, but Darja mentioned something about the requirement for at least 2 founders. I think that's something I can highlight also, that it's not that we are closed off if you are a solo founder. You could be a solo founder, but you have an active team, or you're still in negotiation with other co-founders or people within your team that you want to promote into being co-founders. So if you're a solo founder, don't shy away from submitting your application. So these are some of the discussions we have in the initial discussions. So we can look out and see if it will be a good fit, but also good to highlight that the program is actually quite intensive. So that's why we usually require that either you have a big active team around you, or you have 2-3 other co-founders that you can rely upon during the program period.
Yeah, and I think we have had a couple of startups who have tried to go through the program on their own as solo founders, but one of the, I think, first things that we actually kind of ask them to do is try to find a co-founder, because it's gonna make it easier. And also the program content, right? Some things are more relevant for CEOs, some things are more relevant for CTOs. So the program also differentiates, and you can gain more actually if you have an extra person you can share the content with. On the criteria part, I also see good thing. I see some questions coming in. So a reminder to everyone who's listening, we see your comments. Hello, everyone who joined us a bit later. Happy to see you. Use the comment section for the questions. And we have a question. We already covered it a little bit, but maybe Eliud, you can once again remind people the question about requirements. Are there any restrictions or requirements regarding the geography? So maybe you can cover that one again, please.
Yeah, so we said we are open to all African countries. So your target market should be Africa. And mostly we encourage startups that are in English-speaking countries, mainly because the course content is and the feedback and interactions are all in English. So English-speaking countries, so that the founders speak English. So there's no other really restriction. I know we usually highlight like 5 major countries that we target. Those are the active startup markets currently in Africa. But from whichever country you are in, as long as it's English-speaking, your target market, the founders are from Africa and the target market is Africa, all are welcome to submit applications.
Yeah, and if by any chance we have people who are listening to this Q&A and you are not from Africa and you're not targeting Africa, you can still listen in and get a lot of value about understanding how the program looks like. We will be covering that one in more depth, but we also have other programs open. So if by any chance you feel that now you need to kind of run away, this is only for African founders, don't do that. You can still find out a lot about our programs, and then you can check out our website for other open programs. So since I touched upon the program itself, one thing, so if startups get selected, you both get an investment and then you get a 5-month-long journey together with us, especially working very closely together with Eliud. And maybe Eliud, you could take us through the program setup, how intense it is it how the it's online, how the program is happening, because I know that we have these content weeks and implementation weeks, and also topic wise, if you could kind of walk us through this whole process so people can understand what they need to be ready for if they get selected for the program.
So as we are saying, the program is usually 5 months long, 20 to 22 weeks. So it's usually divided into 4 modules, but essentially you invest about 8 to 10 hours a week of active sessions. And after every 4 weeks, we usually have a week-long break. The main modules, so we have so each module has like a theme. So first is usually around company building, and then module 2 around sales and marketing. Module 3 is all about product and design, and then the last module is on fundraising. In between all modules, we have a week-long implementation week, so you get to implement what you've learned, and also like a break. But we also have 2 signature sessions, which are usually week-long. So this is the product sprint and also the market engineering sprint that are usually week-long and are more intensive because they cover all 5 days, a lot of homework, and you technically dedicate the whole day over the 5 days. So those are usually the most engaging sessions. Apart from that, so how it's designed is that for each module and depending on the theme, we have various workshops with various mentors from our pool, and then all startups get to have one-on-ones with these mentors just to touch on pain points that are directly correlated to their individual businesses. We also have sessions like peer sessions among the startups. I know we had not mentioned, but we usually target between 10 to 12 startups. Now, together with the founders that are in the startup, so you find we have a team of around 20 to 30 people at one go. So we also try to encourage the teams to interact and have peer sessions just to learn from each other. But also within our website and everything is usually very well explained. I don't know that, I think that's what I can cover at a high level.
Yeah. Thank you. I think it gives a good overview. And then the other part, so we have the program. It's quite intense, so you have to be ready. That's why also the kind of a nudge to find a co-founder if you don't have one, because the program is quite intense and there's a lot of content that needs to be covered. And of course, you have your startup you need to work on, but then you also need to get all the content that you can, work with all the mentors. So it's quite time consuming, but there's a lot of value in it. And the other part, I see also questions coming in about that one. The startups get is the deal. I know you already covered it a little bit, Eliud, but maybe you can do it again. So what is the deal, how it is split, and what are the rules? Because we also have a question from Owen if the deal can be negotiated. So maybe you can walk us through the whole setup of how the deal is happening and what are the conditions.
Yeah. So how it's currently structured. So the standard accelerator comes with a 65,000 euro investment. So once you're accepted, you're guaranteed to receive 65,000 euros in investment. So this is for an equity stake that we negotiate before. So during this period of applications, and that's what is covered in the initial term sheet. So of course, we'll gauge like some valuation for you, and then we'll make a proposal to you that we want to invest 65,000 euros for X% of your business. We take a maximum of 12% in equity, but it can be anywhere between 5% to 12% depending on the valuation of how we value your business. And then of course we can negotiate. So once we have reached an agreement on that, so we sign a term sheet, and that's when that's the indication that you can officially join the program. So the 65,000 euros is given within the 5 months of the program in 3 tranches. So this is covered in the term sheet. So at the beginning of the program, we'll set some milestones. So the first tranche you're given at the beginning of the program, but the next 2 tranches are given depending on milestones that we pre-agree upon at the beginning. But we ensure by the end of the program, you have received your full 65,000 investment, and also the milestones are actually come from you. So as I was saying, the first module is about company building, setting goals. So even the milestones that we set come from the goals that you have set for yourself, just to keep you accountable during the program, and even as we help you build and scale.
Thank you. And now we have a couple of more questions coming in about the requirements, or what are we looking for in the startups. Let's start with we have a question. I think we didn't mention it that much, that one for you, Darja, about the pre-accelerator program, because maybe you can also start with that. Sometimes maybe we invite a startup who applies actually to take part in the pre-accelerator program before. So maybe you can cover that part a little bit. And also, so yeah, our question from Lawrence. Is the application deadline the same 25th of August application deadline for anyone? Maybe you can, Darja, explain the whole pre-accelerator a little bit and what it means and how it can correlate also to the startups who are already in it.
Yes. So as a company, we have two accelerators. So we have full-time accelerator that comes together with investment in this 5 months long program. This is what we're talking about today. But we also have completely equity-free 8 weeks long pre-accelerator. Most of it is a pre-recorded content. You get lessons on most needed aspects of the business. And then on top of that, you have different webinar sessions with different experts and Wise Guys teams. And then you have mentor days. This is the pre-accelerator. This is invitation only. Basically, you can still apply. We have a link on our webpage, but we invite only a certain number of startups per program. And also, as a scouting team, we use it as a tool to help startups get a little bit better, because as we mentioned, there are specific criteria that you need to check to get into the full-time acceleration. Because this full-time acceleration, first of all, you obviously give away your equity, but also you need to be at a specific stage for you to get the most out of it. So you need to have working product, you need to find your product market fit. So the moment you get there, you start to accelerate your sales and it goes smoothly. That means that when you apply, sometimes we have a conversation and we see that, yes, there is a great potential, but some things need to be a little bit fine-tuned. And then we usually offer the pre-accelerator to startups, depending on where we are within the selection process for the full-time accelerator. Either even after the pre-accelerator, you get into the same funnel and can get into the program you applied for, or it also depends on your progress. We keep an eye for everyone who has been through our pre-accelerator for the future programs. That means that maybe not this program is for you, but within the next 3 to 6 months, we open something suitable for you. We go through our CRM and we basically ping every startup who is potentially can benefit from that program when we ask about the progress. So within the pre-accelerator, we can actually also invite you to get into the selection process if we see you're making great potential. So the deadline applications is for everyone, no matter if you're just applying or you have been through pre-accelerator. Even if you are now in the pre-accelerator, you don't have to reapply because the place where we store all the information is the same, and it doesn't make any difference for us and for you if you reapply or not, because you stay in the same place in our screens. I hope I answered the question.
Yes, application deadline August 25th, and the pre-accelerator, if you are already there, you will actually already get to work with also with Eliud, because he's going to be leading the pre-accelerator that we will have now during the summer. I'm right? I'm not talking something that's not correct. So you already get extra touch points. On this part, Lawrence had another question, also something that you, Darja, also mentioned. So if a startup has an initial revenues but no software product built yet, can they still be accelerated into building the product and during the acceleration? Yes, no. What's the future there?
In short, it's a no. Because as we mentioned, to get the full value of the program, you need to have product because we accelerate sales, and to sell, you need to have something to sell. This is the short answer. I would suggest, if you are in doubt, in any case, if you're not strictly B2C, if you are interested, apply. We will evaluate, and then either we offer you the pre-accelerator and keep an eye on you, or we talk and we make some other decisions, because it's case by case. You can apply. The worst case, you just don't get into the full-time accelerator, but you still get on our radar. That means that in future we will know who you are and we will approach you maybe with some interesting offer in the future.
Yeah, I would say that it does look like that Lawrence might be already or negotiating in the pre-accelerator, but this is not the last Wise Guys SaaS Africa program that we will be having. This is the program that will start on October 10th. But we have future plans. So if you are already working with us and working in our pre-accelerator or get invited to be a part of the pre-accelerator program, like, don't see it as a discouragement. We actually want to work with you and we want to see your progress, and we actually want to help you get better and prepare you for the full-time program and have you there when you will be ready for it. So this is a good stepping stone. You might be just a little bit too early, so that in the sense that the full-time program might be just too much for you, but that is a step towards it, and take the most out of it. And we will have more programs, so we will definitely find a space for you if we see that you want to grow, you do the work, and you develop and grow. So yeah. Another question. So I'm seeing questions again about the application deadline. August 25th. I will repeat it all the time if needed. Don't forget about it. But as we explained it a bit earlier, if you missed it at the beginning, do not wait till August 25th to apply, because we are already having pitch days and evaluations, calls with tech calls with Eliud, managing director of the program. So we are already talking to anyone who's interested in the program. So don't wait, apply. The website is down from the stream, in the stream, startupwiseguys.com/SaaS Africa. You can apply there. I am seeing a question again about the criteria towards the model. So because we say that we are a B2B accelerator, and we are the biggest one in Europe. So either one of you, which one wants you to take this, Eliud or Darja? What about the B2B2C model?
I think the straight answer is yes, to some degree. So we accept and work with those. So that is welcome. Yeah.
Yes. So apply and let's talk.
Yeah,
Darja?
Unless you are strictly B2C, apply. Just apply, and then, as I said, the worst case, you just don't get into the full-time accelerator, but still you get on our radar in case you decide to pivot at some point or whatnot happens. We have seen you, we have talked to you, you're somewhere in the back of our mind, so it doesn't hurt to apply.
So I'm super happy to see that we have a lot of questions. That's why we are here. Keep dropping them in. We still have time. So I'm looking at everything that you have shared and going through them. So a good question. We did not cover that part at all for now. So what happens after the program ends? So maybe Eliud, you could cover this a little bit. So the whole network that actually startups get, the alumni community, also the perks part, which startups get already access during the program, because we have a question again from Owen. So do we have some kind of perks as ABS credits? Short, we do, and others, but maybe Eliud, you could cover this, the whole part about also the aftercare program, how the work continues after the program ends. It does not stop there, and what kind of perks and access startups get.
Yeah, so actually you've mentioned a lot about the perks, but yeah, I think the way I should answer this is the reason we are making an equity investment. So after the 5-month program period, it's not the end. So we are actually just getting started with you. So once you've completed the program, you officially join the SWG alumni network, where we are a family of all the startups that we've invested in. So currently we have over 300 startups across the world that we've invested in, and the startups that complete our accelerator programs officially join the alumni network. So that is the first key thing. But I think one major thing, aside from the perks, of course, there are various perks through our various partners that we have. You also continue after the 5-month program, you also continue in an aftercare program with the MD for 3 months of active engagement. But at the same time, also, I think one of the biggest value adds is on follow-on investment. So we actually offer up to 250,000 euros in follow-on investment. So depending on how soon you're fundraising, and you are eligible, we commit to give you follow-on investment depending on your round size, and of course in subsequent fundraisings as the company matures. I think that's one good thing that we saw even in the first batch from Africa that we just completed. Actually, 2 out of 8 teams qualified for follow-on investment, and we've actually supported them in their fundraising. And actually, 4 startups out of 8 are actively fundraising and have received some good commitment. So I think that is some of the benefits. So it's a long-term journey that we are just starting. So this is just usually the start towards the long-term growth. The long-term plan to see you grow and create a sustainable startup.
Thank you. We also had one question that I was not sure what it means, because it was how long are you in the startup? But as Eliud said, it is a long-term journey. So we might start even with the pre-accelerator program where we don't invest yet, but then if you're invited for the pre-accelerator, then that's a journey, and then afterwards it's at least for 10 years or even more. So since Wise Guys have reached this year the milestone of 10 years, we are still in touch very much with the startups also from our very, very first batches in 2012, 2013. And it's a community that you get to interact with. Also, you get access to everyone who were a part of the batches like years ago. So I think it's a very good network to leverage and use, and you get access to it already when you are in the program, so not even after the program. I'm happy to see that we have also our own mentors joining our Q&A. Gleb, it's nice to see you on the other side virtually. Gleb is actually one of our pitch coaches, data-driven pitch coach, and he really drills you on how to pitch and how to talk to people so that they understand what you are doing and you can deliver the message. And thank you, Gleb, for question. So either one of you, maybe Darja or Eliud, would like to cover this question. I think it's a very good question. So what are the top 3 mistakes that founders make during the pre-acceleration program that might be holding them back for us considering them for the full-time program? Maybe some lessons learned or something that you have seen with talking with these startups.
I think I will take it, and maybe Eliud, if he will have something to add, can do it after. So as the pre-accelerator is equity free, obviously you join and you do it at your time and you commit as much as you can, because there are no commitment from your side, except the only thing we require is your time. And one of the issues I see is that startups sometimes think that they have to join if we invite them, and they are not committing to it. So they joined and they basically don't do anything, which is understandable. Sometimes life happens to them and they can't join and fully participate. But I would say if you get an offer, please consider, because first of all, you will require about 5 hours during the week to participate. Some of it will be on your own time because the content is pre-recorded, but some sessions are live. So one of the biggest mistakes, joining and not doing anything. This is probably the biggest, and obviously, as there are no commitments we don't sign any agreements, but still we keep an eye on all the startups who join. We have a couple of people working on the program and basically keeping an eye on startups. That means that we see if you are not doing anything, and then you do not graduate. You participate in the program, but you don't graduate. Scouting team joins all the graduations. That means that we see the survivors. So if you don't participate, you don't get on our radar per se. And this is the point where you miss out. Second part is when the startups join, but either they're too shy or they are not as interested, and you don't participate in different Q&As or mentoring sessions. That means that you don't get the full value of the program. If you join, there are no stupid questions. As long as this is something you want to know, just raise your hand during the Q&As or live sessions or webinars, or apply to mentoring sessions when you're provided such an opportunity, because you never know which conversation, which insight will help you develop your business and grow. So if you join, be active, use this opportunity to the fullest. And I think those are actually two major mistakes that startups do. The third one I cannot bring up. I'm not going to bring it out of the air, but I think those are two of the most major ones. If you commit to it. And if you join, use this opportunity to the fullest. And also it brings back to you being in front of us, because when you ask questions, we actually interact with you and we know who you are. Because if you are just a black dot on the screen and you never unmute and ask questions and you never show your face, we don't know who you are. You're just yet another name on Zoom call. So be active.
Yeah. So maybe I can add. Maybe I can add something on top of that. I would say also like persistent. So you can do everything okay and you graduate, but if you are not persistent in like following up, giving updates on DLAM, because their portal remains the same where you had initially submitted your application. So it's always good like to ping us, give us updates on your progress, anything you learned from the OPA that has helped you and that you think will accelerate you to join the program officially. I think that is also usually very helpful. So sometimes people just get into the pre-accelerator, graduate, do everything okay, and then just keep quiet. You have to realize that we are receiving hundreds and hundreds of applications, so you also have to keep yourself top of our minds. And the easiest way to do that is just to send a quick email via DLAM. That way, like the scouting team can be able to capture you, and then you can highlight. So I've made X and X improvement, because of course, even when you do your first pitch day, we always give you feedback of why maybe you did not make it. So maybe during the pre-accelerator period, you are able to make some improvements. So I think persistence is also critical, and just keep open lines of communication with us.
Yeah, thank you. And that also covers a question from Nixon that we had. If thank you for enjoying our program. Happy to have you in Pre-Accelerator. And as you heard, if you are already in the Pre-Accelerator program, we see you. But be engaged, make sure to update us on your progress, and scouting team sees you as well. So your application is there in DLUM, and Darja will keep an eye on you. Eliud will keep an eye on you. So you are already in our pipeline, and we see you. So nothing else for you to do there. Just do the work. Yes, Darja.
And now you will not have to start your application afresh, but keep it up to date, because you always can edit whatever information you provide. And obviously, if you have some new achievements, I don't know, you signed 75 contracts, I suggest you ping us in message and you can update the application as well. But I would say it's better to reach out to us and let us know, because as mentioned, we have a lot of different applications and we don't go through them every day. But if you send us messages, you will be visible to us, and then we will interact with you more. So please do keep us in the loop. As any investor, you always have to keep them in the loop for the future, whatever progress you're making. And also, you know that our initial pre-selection and the most important things that we look at right away is you having a product. So that means if you joined the pre-accelerator and you were at the prototype stage, but now you have actually working product, this is what you can mention to us. Then customers, if you joined and you just had MVP, but you didn't have any traction, but now you have onboarded 3 new customers, this is definitely something we want to hear. Please do let us know. And any other progress, maybe you were B2B2C, but you were too B2C for us to proceed with you. and now you're pivoted and you found your spot in B2B world, then this is also what you need to communicate to us, guys. We are now strictly B2B. We're signing the contracts and we have customers using us. This is something that is also we want to hear. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Super happy that there are still questions that I see we need to cover. So we will slowly go towards the end. We still have questions, but if you have anything you want to ask, drop them in the comments. And even if we won't make it in this hour, I will make sure to answer anything in written, no matter where you ask those questions. So thank you everyone who's listening. Thank you for your questions. Really appreciate, and that's why we are here. So there was a question from Mohammed. Is there a program with equity for uncreated startups? No, there is none. But if you have, that's part, I will take it to use a moment to promote the other programs that we are having at Startup Wise Guys. If you want to work on a startup and you have ideas, but it's still very, very rough and it's still ideas, you don't have co-founders, you don't know how to move forward. Besides pre-accelerator and accelerator programs, we do other projects. One of them is Jump for CE program. You can find it on our website. It's the same, startupwiseguys.com/jump4CE. That could be a program interesting for you to look into. There we actually work with those who are just at the maybe in ideas, something in your mind, something I would like to do, even though it's like a CE program for Central Eastern Europe. We do invite people from other countries as well, because you need co-founders regardless, and you need people whom to work with. And this program walks you through like idea hacks, hackathon, and then also the pre-accelerator program if you get that far. So it's good to explore. And we oftentimes have other programs as well, or even some hackathons, just smaller events happening. So on this, I would say keep an eye on our social media, follow us wherever you are listening this to, and you will see new programs, new events coming up where you can join. And if you are just fresh in the startup world, there is something where you will find, like, we will find a space for you. You will find a space for yourself within the ecosystem of Startup Wise Guys. Let's call it that way. So we had more questions. This one for Darja again about the requirements. So for how long should the startup have been operational, or what is the revenues that have to be there? Maybe you can walk us through that one more time, please.
Happy to. We don't have a minimum requirement on how long you need to be operational, as long as you have traction. So you're generating revenues even if it's the second month. We're already happy to take a look at you and start the conversation, because sometimes it takes startups months or a year to get to the customers and traction. And sometimes your product is so needed that the second you launch, you already have some LOIs before, and the second you launch, you already have your money and customers coming in. So our sweet spot is when you have first revenues, I would say starting from 1,000 and up. It would be already a good sign for us to continue the conversation with you.
Thank you. And more questions. I'm sorry, I have to read them as well. Read and think at the same time. Not as easy always. Another question from Owen. Can a startup be a part of Accelerator even though they are not selected for the program and not for the funding? Can they just learn? Darja is like already answering. So maybe, you want to elaborate a little bit on this.
I'm not sure how can I elaborate. We do not do that. because we are an accelerator, but at the same time, we're an investor. And for us, it doesn't make sense to invite startups to the program when we do not invest, because we help our portfolio to get better faster without doing mistakes they can avoid by providing the knowledge. So it's a no.
It's a no. Sorry. Thank you, Darja. And yeah, one last one. So if you're listening, I would like last two questions. If you have any, drop them in the comments. We can still cover them, but then we will have to wrap this session up. But no matter, you can find any of us on LinkedIn. Better yet, if you are interested in the program, go to startupwiseguys.com/SaaS Africa. You can see the link below in this stream. Hit that apply button, answer the questions, and then Darja will take care of you and will lead you through all the other calls and journeys, pitch days, everything. Calls with Eliud as well. Eliud will drill you. Our tech people will drill you on your product, and that's going to happen. But that can happen only if you apply. Reminder: application deadline August 25th. And also a very important reminder, we have a question from Paul. We are a B2B accelerator. That's what we focus on. Our program, and Eliud, probably you can elaborate on that one better than I can, but our program is also focused on helping businesses to work with businesses. Maybe Eliud, you want to elaborate a little bit on this question and why the B2B focus.
Yeah, so like what has been said, that's where our expertise is. So over the 10 years that we've been in existence, our mentor pool. So as we said, we are really, the accelerator is usually mentor driven, and the mentor pools that we have mainly come from our experience in B2B business models. So all our coaching, all our sales, even our alumni network, the startups that we'll be interacting with are all B2B kind of businesses. So that's why we insist upon, because that's the value we can be able to provide to you. So that's the major reason why.
So hope it answers your question, Paul. And if you were like strictly convinced that your product has to be B2C, well, maybe you can change your mind and then you go to B2C and then you switch to B2B. That has also happened. We have seen in our experience. So maybe that's something to think about. And then we are more than welcome to have you a part of our programs. One more question. So a question about, do we need to still apply using the registration link posted? Pre-accelerator. Okay, about pre-accelerator. One last reminder, Darja, about the pre-accelerator program and how it works there.
All the startups that apply live in the same space for us from the scouting team perspective. You do not have to reapply if you are in the pre-accelerator. We know you exist. Be active, be on our radar more than just a name on the screen. And then if we see the good progress on your side, we will start conversation by ourselves with you. So no, you don't need to reapply. Just go through the program, use the most out of this opportunity, and then when we see you are ready, we will reach out to you ourselves.
Yeah, as we talked it also previously, and like our pitch coach Gleb nicely summarized, if you are part of pre-accelerator, follow these 3 steps. Engage with the program, switch on your camera and be active. Don't stay hidden. So we actually get to know you and see you, and update us on your progress, because that's the best way how we can see if you are ready for the full-time program or not. Thank you, Gleb, for this summary. Very useful. Anyone who wants to make a screenshot, this is what you need to do. And I think, and one last question that I will take. We already covered it, but let's repeat. But for anyone who joined us today, Thank you so much that you joined us. Thank you for all the questions. If you have any more questions, you can of course reach us in our social media channels. I'm there together with my colleague Tata on the other end. We will make sure that your questions find the right ears and we get you the answers that you are looking for. You can of course also find us on LinkedIn, especially Eliud, since he's the managing director of this batch. He knows the ins and outs and everything, but he will probably also say to you, apply and then let's talk, because there's a lot that we also want to know about you and your product and your team and your plans and everything. And the application form is the best way how to kind of have this first step and understanding how ready are you. The application deadline, August 25th. If you have a spare time after this Q&A, fill the application form today. Don't wait too long because we are already working actively with anyone who has applied until now. And another reminder, one last question of the day, do we accept pre-revenue startups? And how is this working? That because especially B2B startups have a long way to go. Darja.
For this particular program, the answer is unfortunately not. You need to have first sales for us to proceed with you. This is the requirement that has been put on us from the fund, but also that means for you also why we don't really proceed if you don't have traction. For us, the traction means that you have found your spot under the sun, your product is needed on the market, and then when you get into the program, you can get the full value of this sales mentoring that you're getting. That means that you can accelerate on the proper level and you get all the value out of the program. So no, unfortunately, you do need to have traction. We know it's hard, but bear with it. And then when you have first customers, we will be very happy to talk to you.
Thank you. Okay, well, thank you both for joining today with me and talking and tackling these questions. Super happy to have you both here. So August 25th, apply. We will end this Q&A with a really awesome after movie of our previous SaaS Africa batch. So you will get to feel a little bit, if you have time, stay and watch the movie. You will get to feel the vibe of the batch and what it means to be a part of this smaller community that is your batch. And actually anyone that you will see in the video, all the startups that were part of our first ever Wise Guys SaaS Africa program, you can also reach out to them and ask what it meant to be a part of this program. And also hopefully soon we will agree about this with Eliud, but maybe we will invite a couple of them so you can ask the questions actually to the startup founders who went through the program. So keep an eye on our socials. We will put them in the spotlight and you can hear from those who went through it what it means and what did they gained from out of it. But yes, thank you, Eliud. Thank you, Darja. Thanks to everyone who joined. Super happy to have you here. And let's enjoy the first ever Wise Guys SaaS Africa after movie. It's a good one. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Okay. 1, 2, ready, go.
It was intense. It was inspiring. It was exciting.
The energy of our founders and the strong growth of revenue, product in fundraising and business development, and this during such a demanding 5 months.
It was a privilege working with these amazing teams from Africa.
Kenya, Nigeria, Uganda, Namibia, and Ghana.
Wise Guys Africa, we finally did it. It's the epitome of being a family, meeting all these awesome people. I think the energy learning curve was steep, yes, but we all derived a lot of value from this.
The speed of our founders when they improve their KPIs.
Hey team, congratulations. And from the product team, wanted to give you some words of advice for the future. First, keep up the great vibes, communication skills, and make sure to not use those filler words.
Friendly relationships with your co-founders and your team.
Just enjoy the ride. You know you have clients, you know they have problems. Be in love with the problem you're solving, not the solution that you're building, because you need to react to those customer needs and build things they need and love.
There's so much passion, so much desire to have an impact in Africa, and we couldn't have a better group of founders to start showing that to the world. So go out there, have impact, and have fun.
And this is SaaS Africa batch.
It's been an amazing journey with SWG, having to meet amazing founders, mentors, coaches. Every African startup needs SWG.
The best part was very knowledgeable mentors that we got to work with, and they are very well vested in the interest of our business, really getting to understand it from the time we were pitching to when we actually got to work on very specific milestones.
I really enjoyed the support we got from the team. It was part of my team. It was really unbelievable, and it's been an amazing experience.
That I got to spend time with like-minded people who have a common goal to grow their businesses. We had a lot of conversations and shared a lot of experiences that encouraged us to soldier on in this journey.
Massive, amazing content. The content is well curated, easy to understand, in-depth, and knowledgeable. So it helps you as an entrepreneur build your business well, because the people who are delivering it to you are experts.
They've actually propelled me to a different level of my profession in both technology and business. Just to mention, this program was an eye-opener, especially when it comes to building products.
Certainly, we had a very good cohort or batch of my brothers and sisters from other mothers, for lack of a better word, who were part of the program, and I really enjoyed interacting with them. I got a lot of insights on what they were doing and what we can do in Africa.
Being part of Startup Wise Guys has been really a very amazing journey, very intense, but it's been worthwhile. You know, it's so easy as a startup founder to be married to your idea or even a hobby. This program really makes you run business the way you should run business.
But the most memorable one is going to be the Market Sprint week, and it was really intense, and so learning much more about the market that we typically thought that we knew, and it was a very good experience for us to go outside of what we knew to learn more.
This program has actually revealed things that I needed to work on as a person, as a business leader. I came in with property management business, but I have evolved. I have actually found a niche market. And today I'm running Kyoto Pay as a payment platform for real estate services. One's in SWG, all is in SWG. The results are just amazing, and the experience, it's memory sticky.
I was listening to different founders from around Africa speak about their journey, their experience, and their stories about what it takes to be an entrepreneur in the world today. Second of all, was listening to mentors speak about their journey as well, professionals telling us about what it takes to be pros in the game. And then last of all, of course, Startup Wise Guys, which are like the most amazing people on the planet today, because they have helped us to understand what it takes to build a business, what it takes to get more customers, what it takes to sustain a business.
Coming in from the pre-accelerator all the way into the accelerator, I was like, what is this? What is happening? Endless nights, early mornings, hard work. I mean, I met some great people. It's too many to mention. Extremely grateful, and Salon Accounting has a full-on team now, which is exciting.
All these startups that were in the program, I think we've met incredible people, incredibly smart. And that's part of the thing I'm going to cherish even as I move forward in this journey. So thank you, and this was awesome.
We now feel that we are on a solid foundation to scale up and then go for that big trophy. Thank you very much, Asante Sana.
Always first batch, and what a journey.
Keep up the great vibes and keep rocking it.
You know, you gotta keep rocking it.
From all of us, Congratulations.
Congratulations.
You, Startup Wise Guys Africa batch #1 founders, you are the best because you made it. It's your results, and this is just the beginning.
And now it's time to fly.